Hi, everybody. This is Lee, and I'm talking about marijuana. There's a growing industry, medical marijuana industry, recreational industry, and hopefully soon there'll be a burgeoning hemp industry, which is like industrial grade marijuana used for products and manufacturing and oil and things like that. But this is an article at The Root, and it says the pioneer, Wanda James, the first black woman to own a marijuana dispensary, gets real. And so it's Black History Month. And so apparently, to honor drug policy reformers on the front lines, the Drug Policy Alliance, in partnership with The Root, is bringing you the stories of four phenomenal people who have been instrumental in shaping conversations around drug policy and its lethal effects on Black communities around the country. And so this article in particular is about Wanda James. She is in the retail side of marijuana based in Colorado. She's a former Navy lieutenant. She served on former President Barack Obama's 2008 Finance Committee, and she opened with her husband the Apothecary of Colorado. And so they were the first Black people in Colorado to own a cannabis dispensary. They sold the Apothecary and then opened Simply Pure medicated edibles. And they serviced over 450 dispensaries in a hospice program. And so they were manufacturing, they were cooking and things like that. And then there was a market shift, and so they closed the Simply Pure and then continued to work towards the full legalization of marijuana. In 2012, Colorado voted to legalize recreational use, and then 27 other states and the District of Columbia have joined in the boom. And so now they have reopened Simply Pure, which is a full service cannabis dispensary. They specialize in medical and recreational marijuana. They opened that in 2015. And so they have a menu like chocolate bars, gourmet cooking oils, and maybe they have recipe books. So this article is an interview with the owner, Wanda James, and just goes through her efforts. It's pretty fascinating. There's another article that I ran into, Cannabis Business Times, and it's an interview with Montel Williams. And apparently, Montel Williams is going to debut his own brand of medical marijuana, his branding. And so he was a very high profile advocate for medical cannabis. Montel Williams suffered from muscular dystrophy, MS. And so, or no, not muscular dystrophy, but multiple sclerosis. And he was diagnosed about 17 years ago. He was a pretty high profile, well known talk show host, and he was diagnosed. And so he initially turned to opioids to help ease the pain of the multiple sclerosis. And he became addicted. And then that became another battle besides the original disease. He had to also battle addiction to opioids. And he still says he still feels the damage from that addiction. So that's what opioids do. It causes more problems than, the original diagnosis brings, which is why more people want to legalize medical marijuana in more states and make it free and open to use, to help with chronic conditions. And so now Montel Williams wants to debut his own brand of medical marijuana. And he's going to be introducing it. And I'll leave a link to this article in the description so people can learn more. It looks like exciting things are happening in the marijuana industry, despite the fact that Black people have been unfairly targeted for racial profiling, and then escalated sentencing, upgrading charges that would otherwise be misdemeanors to felonies when it comes to drug use, accusing people of intending to distribute, using that discretion, or maybe saying, well, there are children in the vicinity, things like this. Whereas with someone else, maybe they can use their discretion and say, well, clearly she wasn't intending to distribute, even though she's got 2 pounds of it in her house. But we're satisfied. So there's been unfair targeting. There's been unfair convictions, the mandatory sentencing, the choice of whether to treat it as a moral issue and send people to jail or prison, or to treat it as a health and wellness issue or as a disease and send them into treatment. There is also discretion used that way too, which shouldn't be quite like that, but it is. And so we have a growth of people being warehoused inside prisons, mostly people of color, mostly for reasons of using that type of discretion. And so people are saying, well, one, it's not a dangerous drug. It's a drug for adults and it should be monitored when it's used medically, but it's no more harmful than tobacco or alcohol, which are legal and which are regulated and which are taxed and have guidelines for dispensary distribution and for use. And so I'll let people look through these articles and see what they think about what's happening in the marijuana industry. Good luck.